Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at the inheritance in JavaScript. This was the first concept that I have struggled with when I started learning JavaScript. I hope this video will be useful for others to get better understanding of it. Our first question is, what is inheritance? And most basic answer is using methods and props from other object. And what is the purpose of it? Its purpose is reduce duplication and memory usage. So how to implement it? We're going to implement it using prototype chain. And we're going to learn prototype chain, but first we need to learn what is the prototype. And we're going to learn it through code examples because it will be much easier to understand them when you see the object structure right in browser console. And let's get into it. I've made some code snippets ready beforehand. It will be easier for me copy paste them instead of typing them from scratch. So what we have here is constructor function. What constructor function does, it creates new instances, new objects. And as you can see, its first letter is capital case. This is the convention in JavaScript community. And let me create new person instance quickly. And we are using new keyword in constructor when we want to call constructor function, and we are passing Jean and 1990 arguments to it. And what this function will does, it will create new object. Newly created object will be this. So in correct sentence, this will refer to newly created object. Name property will hold the value of name, which is Jean, and birth property will hold the value 1990. And let me log this person constructor object and person instance in our browser and see the structure of them. I'm gonna use console directory method since it shows details of the object instead of only showing string. We can see them in here console, and if I want to see the details, person has birth and name property and underscore proto property. This is shown differently in here. We are gonna explain it later in the video. And person has arguments, color, length, name, and prototype property. Here's the prototype property that we are gonna learn. As you can see, we didn't define these properties, but JavaScript created them internally because for it to function, it does all this behind the scenes. And today we are gonna learn with how to work with prototype property. Prototype object in constructor function is special for us because all the instances, which is person 1 and person 2, can access this property thanks to JavaScript. So it's a shared place that we can put our shared methods and props, so all the instances can access them in one place with one declaration. So this is the importance of it. Let me write what just said for reference. Prototype object is a shared object that all the instances of the construction function will have access to. So we can declare all the shared methods and probes in one place, which reduces the duplication and memory usage. Let me show it in action right now. So I'm gonna copy paste one more snippet again. What this code snippet does, we are accessing the person prototype object and adding new probe called calculate age. And this calculate age probe holds a method which returns the age of the person. And let's see if we can use it in instance, person1 instance, calculate age, and as you can see, it returns us the age of the person. And it's not a magic. Right now you can see the calc age method in the prototype object. It is true for all the instances. Person 2 also can use this method because it's in the prototype object and all the instances can access it. I believe that's clear, but to understand better, let us declare calc age method in the person construction function body. This calc age equals to new function. Body of the function is not important. What I want to show you right now, every person instance will have a different method defined in them. Person 1 calc age equals person 2 calc age. This will return false right now because in memory every person instance will define its own method and basically pollute or expand the memory. As we can see, it returns false, and every person instance has its calc age method. It's in object, and this will return true for the prototype implementation because in memory it only has one declaration. It's true. Now we have learned the importance of the prototype. We are going to learn two new properties called proto and constructor. I have prepared some diagrams beforehand. Let me go over them. We have person constructor object, right? Or person constructor function. Right here we have this, and this is the presentation of it. And it has prototype property which refers to prototype object. And we can see right here person constructor object has prototype property which refers to an object, and that object is called person prototype object. And we have declared calc age probe previously in this object, and this object has two other internal probes, proto and constructor. Constructor refers back to the constructor function, and we can see it in this arrow. Let me go over them again. Person constructor object has prototype property. It refers to person prototype object, and person prototype object has constructor property, refers back to the constructor object. And we have proto property we will learn it in a minute. And we also have here a instance presentation, which is Jean, person 1. This instance also has proto property, which refers to the prototype object. So let's check if my saying is correct. Person 1 has proto property, which references the person prototype object, and we are saying this is true. And let us check in console. Yes, it's true. So actually this is the main reason, or this is the main implementation how instances can access the prototype object, because they have or hold reference to prototype object internally. First, when we call person1 calc age method, they first trying to find the method in right themselves. Then if they can't find it, they're gonna look at the prototype object which they find here and call them. So this was the underlying implementation, how instances can access the prototype object. Okay, now we're gonna explain the proto property in prototype object, or explain the prototype chain. As always, let's move with the code example, because I believe seeing everything in code is much robust and much clearer. To see the prototype chain in action, we have to declare new constructor function, and we are going to use teacher example. Only difference, teacher will have a branch such as math, geography, etc. And we are calling the person constructor function in here. The call method in here allows us to pass this value instead of creating new one. So in here we're just basically saying use the newly created teacher object instead of creating new one, and create name and birth property in teacher object. This is the what this line does, and we also assigning the branch to teacher object, teacher instance. So moving on, we are gonna create the teacher prototype, right? Of course, we need to inherit the person prototype methods. In this case, we want to inherit the calc age, and internally JavaScript will create prototype for teacher, but we are overriding it with this line. We are creating the new object and giving argument. After doing this, of course, we also want to add new methods in teacher instances, such as teach method. There's nothing special it. We just want to add new method, and this is the implementation of the prototype change. Let me save and also log the teacher so we can see it in action. And right here we have teacher's prototype object, and it has teach method in it. That's nice. And inside the underscore proto object we have calculate age. So don't get confused, we are gonna show underscore proto property in diagram also in a minute. Let us see if we could use the calculate age method in teacher1. Yes, as you can see, we could use the calculate age. That's the basic implementation. Now I want to explain it in the diagram for you to have a better reference. So I'm gonna copy paste this one below, and I'm gonna copy paste it again, and I'm gonna change this to teacher constructor object and teacher prototype object, and of course it will have teach method and teacher instance object, which we gave name Jean again. Okay. As we can see, every implementation and every step was the same. And right now what we want to see clearly is how teacher instance can access the calculate age method in person prototype. So we are gonna show it by this. Teacher prototype object has proto property which references to person prototype object. Okay. It holds reference to person prototype object in proto property. Thanks to this, it can apply the prototype chain. We are saying teacher prototype objects proto property, teacher prototype proto property equals to person prototype, and we are declaring this is the how prototype chain works. Let's see if in the browser it's true. Yes, with code implementation we also double checked if our statement was true, and as you can see here, yes, our statement is correct. You can extend it in any way. You're gonna create new constructor object, and you're gonna assign its prototype object to new value, and you can extend it infinitely. And that's the idea of prototype chain. With new versions, implementing the prototype chain is easier, and the new keyword is class declaration. By using class declaration, we improve the code readability, but it's just syntactic sugar. JavaScript still uses the constructor functions and prototype assigning under the hood. I also want to show you how it's easy these days implementing prototype chain with class constructor. Class declarations. Implementing inheritance with class declaration is easier. But keep in mind, if you understood everything so far, this is how JavaScript works under the hood. Its core functionality. So we're gonna do the same thing, but this time we're gonna use class keywords. We are declaring a class with name person, and we are defining constructor and name birth arguments here, same as before, and we directly write the calc h method in here. Then we are gonna declare the teacher class, but this time we are extending the person. And so we see new keyword in here, super, different from person, because this tells to teacher class, hey, call this or pass this arguments to the person, call person with these arguments. And we are assigning branch to directly to teacher, and we have teach method right here. And let's see if teacher structure is same as before in the console. This time it says class, that's okay, but its prototype is same. It has teach method right here, same as before, and its underscore proto object has calc h. Of course, in code bases you will always see the class declaration, and you'll also always work with class declarations, but always it's a good idea to know how something works under the hood.